Okay, Matt, it's all yours.
Okay. Thanks, Judy. We'll make sure slides progress here. So just quickly do some introductions. I know Judy kind of started things off, and Nathan Brophy is also on the call. He is the district manager that'll be taking over for Judy come August. So he's on board, getting trained up with Judy. I don't know if you guys want to do a brief intro for yourselves right now. It's up to you. Okay.
Morning, everyone.
Just to briefly introduce the people who are leading the charge that are going through our monthly meetings to progress on the countywide action plan development. So there's Judy and Nathan from the conservation district side, and then Justin Scabry is the county planning director. I'm not sure if Justin's on the call today, but he's participating and assisting us as we pull the plan together and make sure we've incorporated additional county planning efforts that have been made over the past 15 or 20 years. My name is Matt Vanaski. I'm a water resources engineer and project manager for HRG in the Lewisburg office. My background's in stormwater and CSO planning and stormwater management side of things. So I live and work in the region, and I'm excited to be helping out in Northumberland County, putting the countywide action plan together. So I don't have a formal agenda for today. We did kind of sketch one out and I built my slides around that, but really it's about today is a little bit more kind of open discussion than our previous general stakeholder meeting. So I'll progress through some information to kind of spur some thought. But as Judy mentioned, please feel free to interject with ideas or questions. If you would like clarification or explanation, we'll be happy to provide that on the fly as we go through the slides. So why are we here? The countywide action plan is a component of the phase 3 WIP that has been put together by the state DEP. And this map kind of shows a summary of impaired waterways in Northumberland County. So at issue here is we're trying to address multiple things with the development of a countywide action plan, trying to achieve those pollutant load reductions that have been suggested in the plan, and potentially addressing local water quality issues and impairments that have been identified by DEP. So this map shows all of those impairments within the county, whether they be through siltation, earth disturbance in the local waterway, metals, nutrients, and then kind of other. Those are the different components. And this information is provided in the county toolbox provided by DEP to the county to put together our plan. So are you, as you listen and think today, and I'm sure you're well aware of either a local waterway that you're concerned about or you care for and you want to see improved, or you just want to be generally aware of where you are within the county and what impairments might be identified for that waterway. What kind of challenges and opportunities are we trying to overcome with the development of the plan? Really today is about furthering the conversation we had earlier in the year and providing an opportunity to maybe work together to achieve mutual goals, depending on what your entity or what your individual focus might be. We may be able to work together to increase your capacity to reach those goals, potentially work together on grant administration or applications, that opportunities that are out there right now. Identify potential for differing or enhanced land maintenance and management. Introduce and work through municipal and government relationships to achieve these types of goals. Maybe you have you're concerned about something in your area, or you want something addressed at the countywide level. Trying to spur action and initiate conversation is really what this meeting and the stakeholder meetings are about, and hopefully something that we can pull into the countywide action plan as we put it together. Additionally, landowner relationship tracking, just people that are aware and interested in trying to do or enhance land management, land water management in the county. So what is the phase 3 WIP versus the countywide action plan, or maybe more local water quality led initiatives? So this is a summary slide of what the Pennsylvania's phase 3 WIP is, the large big picture statewide plan that has been as part of the watershed improvement plan. The state has identified and used the countywide action plan planning process to reach those goals at the state level. So what Northumberland County is doing is trying to identify and see what progress has been made that might not be reported in the county in terms of land and water management, and document that information and put it together in the countywide action plan that'll be submitted to DEP later in the year. At the more local scale, there may be requirements for wastewater treatment plants. Depending on the type of agricultural land use that is out there, they may have specific requirements that they need to meet that are based on some of these CAP planning requirements. And then maybe more specifically to your local, where you live, there might be stormwater management requirements that you need to meet when there's land development occurring, or if you have an MS4, which is not currently an issue in Northumberland County, but may, depending on how MS4 requirements adjust in the future, local requirements at meeting stormwater management to achieve those load reductions. So what is the CAP planning program that we've kind of identified to put together our plan? There's a lot of differing components and moving parts that we're trying to create energy and pull together. So there's technical aspects from the CAST Bay model and monitoring data that can be reviewed and identified to see if we feel those are accurate or how we can use those in the future. We're trying to do outreach through stakeholder meetings like this and through conversations that can come out of these meetings. So to identify leaders who might be interested in pushing water quality management and land use management issues. And then as we put the plan together, we're trying to drive landowner interest, identify funding mechanisms to create more methods for land and water management, and identify an implementation schedule, because as part of the countywide action plan and phase 3 WIP process, there's a goal for 2025 that they're trying to achieve. So what are Northumberland County's goals as put together in the toolbox and in the phase 3 WIP? Northumberland County is trying to reduce an additional 1.7 million pounds of nitrogen, which you can see, I don't know if you can see my cursor or not, in the table in the upper right-hand box. We made significant progress since 1985 in terms of phosphorus management. The nitrogen is a much harder pollutant to reduce. So what we're trying to do is make progress towards that 1.7 million pound reduction goal through 2025 as much as possible. The countywide toolbox that has been put together for the county to use has identified some BMP potential or where they see opportunity. What Judy and Nathan and the county planning team is doing is trying to see, is that achievable? Where do we think there's progress to be made that might not be reporting? We had a really good agricultural stakeholder meeting on Friday, where we kind of cross-checked what's in the toolbox reporting, and we think that we're low on some things that should make some progress towards achieving this goal, and we hope to obtain similar results from these additional stakeholder meetings. If there's additional opportunity out there that people are trying to make progress on local issues that might not be getting reported or not have been reported in the past. So how do we get to that 1.7 million pounds? Chesapeake Bay office utilizes a complex model called CAST that takes locally derived inputs at the county and watershed level, that inputs that into a watershed-based model that that combines land use management, what's going on at the local scale. It's refined using water quality data, and that puts out the Chesapeake Bay model results. We had put together an initial BMP scenario. So a scenario of what we think is potential as a potential scenario mix of best management practices that can improve water quality in Northumberland County a few weeks ago. And we have a meeting with DEP in the next few weeks to go over those results. What we're hoping to do through these meetings is to refine that first initial scenario and make another run here in the next few weeks as we put together the countywide action plan. So just food for thought is, what do you think? Are there programs that your group or your entity is interested in pursuing that you might not have be aware of the time schedule? Is that something we can help you to achieve your goals through identifying a best management, land use, or water management practice that would assist us in meeting countywide action plan goals? So what are the BMPs that CAST likes? Particularly related, I think, to this group, if we're kind of staying away from the agricultural sector, forest buffers and infiltrating practices, a lot of, focused stormwater management and forest buffers. So trees and land and stormwater management at the focus scale. So you'll see this TN pounds reduced per unit, that's nitrogen pounds reduced per unit that's reported in the model. I know stream restoration gets a lot of press. It's not quite as efficient at reducing total nitrogen, but it is an opportunity it creates an opportunity to implement similar practices. So if you're pursuing or interested in stream restoration type practices, adding forest buffers to them kind of doubles your effort there. So just food for thought if you're trying to identify a project for your local group or you're pushing an idea in your municipality. These are the BMPs that CAST likes: tree planting, forest buffers, infiltrating practices that is managing a large portion of stormwater. So just a general progress update. Right now we're in the planning process. So we're trying to identify new BMPs and combine them with existing BMPs to derive our countywide action plan. Trying to identify BMPs that make sense. So in our discussion with agricultural stakeholders on Friday, some things just don't make sense from a local perspective. They're just not adaptable, or the farmers in the area don't use that type of approach. But there are things that are going on that might not be reported that are creditable, and that's what we're trying to identify here: is things that are happening or things that could happen with additional resources or incentives locally. On top of that, as part of the countywide action plan, if we can identify things that people are interested in pursuing, but there's a hurdle to overcome to implement it, that's something that we can report, and it's something that DEP wants to be made aware of. Telling them that we have a landowner who would like to do this but is looking to pursue grant funding to do something like that. Is something that they want to be aware of. If there's just an issue in terms of funding or resources or something like that, we want to alert that, and that's something that we can document in the countywide action plan. And as I had mentioned before, right now we're working under a 2025 deadline for the countywide action plan process. So we're going to put together our plan this year, and that will be incorporated into the phase 3 WIP that's trying to meet those reductions by 2025. To date, like we mentioned, we've pursued outreach, local leaders, small group Zooms through these meetings that we had this and last week, through our broader picture stakeholder meeting a few months ago. We're trying to utilize as much of the county staff that resources that they have, things that they're doing, tracking, make use of that information. And we've been progressing through slowly, and we'll be making additional progress on identifying corridors of opportunity, so that there are areas in the county where it makes a little bit more sense to try and pursue BMPs, just because of the land use and geology in the area makes nitrogen loading to the waterways more efficient. and I'll show that map here in a minute, but we're trying to promote BMPs in those locations if possible. And typically they fall in the highest ag land use, most likely. But there's also components there for, where MS4s may have potential, or where there's preserved farms or specific landowners in those areas. So as I mentioned, this is the nitrogen loading map that has been put together in the countywide toolbox. So the brighter the blue color, the higher the nitrogen loading to the local waterways. So in Northumberland County, that's really on the northern end of the county, and a little bit more sporadic through the middle and southern portions of the county, where nitrogen loading is a little bit more direct to the waterway. So these are the areas that'll likely rise, at least in terms of water quality issues, for our corridors of opportunity. Are you aware of anything in these locations? That's something we want to document or something we want to highlight today. So please let us know either, as we move through slides, we'll open it up to discussion here in a little bit, more general discussion, or if you think about it after the meeting and you want to send us an email, please let us know. Additionally, something that we've pursued with other countywide plan developments throughout the state that HRG is working on. We've been made aware of the Chesapeake Bay Monitoring Cooperative and ALARM, the Alliance for Aquatic Resources Monitoring. These are two groups that are trying to pool together water quality monitoring that is occurring in the state. So well aware that there could be research or educational opportunity here where people are pursuing work. And what these resources do is they identify quality management procedures to follow so that people who are doing water quality monitoring follow those procedures so it can be used and then pulled into CAST. So there's different, as we mentioned before, CAST takes a lot of local data and refines the model through that way. And one way to improve it is to get out and monitor water locally, but also follow the protocols that are required to use that data within the CAST model. So something we wanted to alert you to, that there is a resource to report that data if there's awareness and a desire to do so. And I know at the conservation district level, they're interested in pursuing this sort of enhanced water quality monitoring potential. So making use of the resources to make that data usable in CAST is something we'll be working towards. On the larger scale, how do we reduce nitrogen pounds? As I mentioned before, BMPs that are, higher efficiency BMPs that we're interested in trying to identify and promote within the CAP. So we want to document the existing ones in farms, urban, suburban areas, and then we want to build more BMPs. So what we're trying to do today is, and through these stakeholder meetings, is to identify willingness to do so. Or willingness to do so with an additional resource that could help you get over the hurdle that you're trying to work through to get a BMP or to do a certain type of project in your area or through your group. Please let us know if you have ideas to incentivize this. In other counties, it just might be, you're trying to promote something or get someone to do something. If there could be an ask out of that too, as well as if you do this, we can get you these types of resources. So willing to work on those ideas, and we have put together similar concepts in other areas of the state. So please let us know. Additionally, what are the CAP components that we think might be interesting to these groups? Definitely riparian buffers, protection, maintenance, and easements. Just a graphic kind of showing what we're trying to do and what's reported right now. There's mapping out there from Chesapeake Bay Conservancy that can show us, where opportunities are available within the county for certain types of BMPs, and restorable wetlands and wetland opportunities are definitely one we think are worth approaching if landowner or site access is possible in those areas. So we can, if you're not aware of this data, likely we can point you to this and can work through using it to identify potential new opportunities if you're aware of someone who's interested or willing to pursue these types of projects. So coming back around to the slide I mentioned before, we're trying to identify partners and opportunity out there. So please let us know if you think, based on this presentation or information that you've seen, if we can help you work towards a goal or a project you think would be worthwhile. I think that's pretty much it. I know I kind of breezed through those slides, so I'm just going to kind of say we're in the midst of the plan writing right now. We have probably 2 more BMP scenarios that we'd like to put together based on feedback from the meeting today and the meetings last in this week, and any other information that maybe stakeholders can get us. So if you have a project inventory or a capital plan that you're aware of, or a municipality that's looking to do something that might be related to water quality or stormwater management, please let us know, because we can document that and identify it for future implementation and potential in our countywide action plan. So any questions or clarifications that I can make to what we presented today?
Tracy, from PPL, is PPL still doing the Community Roots program, offering free trees? And I know that PPL has distributed quite a large amount of trees. I know that we've participated in that in the past, and I'm sure other organizations in Northumberland County has as well. Do you know if PPL has tracked that or has reported that in any way, shape, or form? I wasn't sure.
Yeah, well, to date, and we serve 29 counties, but to date, we've distributed over 90,000 trees. So we've really surpassed our original goal with that program. We began the program in 2017. But I just, while Matt was talking, I was looking at our spring orders, which is the last, the program's probably going to transition. So this was the last set of traditional orders where we're offering free trees. And there weren't any from Northumberland County, but I know there have been in the past. So I could probably find out, if that's helpful to you, how many trees from Northumberland County have been ordered to date. But yeah, the whole time you were talking, I was thinking that's probably the best way that we can help is, with the stream buffers, is through our free trees. The program's probably going to transition to pollinator plants. That's sort of our new focus. So I don't know if that helps with this in any way, but good.
On the large scale, it does. I know. I guess I'm trying to think of the best way. It's like turf land use conversion from grass to that is definitely something we can document. It's at the acres type scale. So, but documenting it is something we'd like to see. And I think if we can enhance that, if there's a program that is set up or has potential, I think that's something DEP would be interested in knowing.
Okay. Yeah, I'll certainly make sure Judy's, that I'm in contact with you as that program evolves. But again, I think we're moving away from the trees because we've distributed so many. It's been really successful program for us.
Great. I appreciate that because I know that that's been a pretty big outreach that PPL has done for the past several years. And I wasn't sure if it was being reported. But yeah, if you have that information accessible, that would be great if you could pass it on.
So you want me to find out how many trees Northumberland County's received from our program? That total? Okay.
That'd be great.
No problem.
So Judy, I don't know who's all on the call. I know you might have a better idea who's there. I didn't know there were partners that you're aware of that have projects that might be going through that the conservation district might be partnering with. And I know what worked well on Friday, I know people might just be not have an understanding of what we're trying to identify in terms of projects, but really it's about stormwater management, land use management, and trying to change the way water flows from the land to the stream. So anything, essentially almost anything that changes that on the surface of the land surface can help us. So trees, definitely documenting tree plantings is great. Definitely land use conversions from a turf land to more grassy, swaley type land is something we can document if that there's potential for that. If a municipality is interested in implementing a buffer, a forested buffer, a grassy buffer on a stream in an area, that's something we want to be aware of. Or if that's something you want to push in your local municipality, that's again something we want to document if there's potential for it.
I do see Doug Fessler is on the call, and I know that during the stakeholders original informational meeting, Doug, I don't know if you can hear me. I know that you had provided some good input about some activity. Did you have any input that you wanted to provide?
Just listening to this meeting right here, I hear it's a lot about nitrogen loading, and that's all well and good. And the last time I was kind of focused on the Smoking Creek, with all that dumping into the Susquehanna. So I don't know how this falls into that, but like from where I'm at, the nitrogen is a huge concern, but this is a huge concern too, because it all comes down to clean water at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
So like, what can be done? Like, I know they're doing stuff upstream and down our way. I'm like 2 miles up from the river, and I've been getting to see more life in the stream. And I guess my thing is from like a state point of view, if that stream can be cleaned up, it could be a natural resource, not only for water, but for life, but for also for like fishermen and stuff. So like, I know there's a huge focus for the farmland agriculture, which is completely valid and needed. But like, I guess that's the thing, is how do we tackle that part of it? Because that doesn't really fall in this umbrella of what you guys are talking about right now. But at the end of the day, it's all about clean water, right?
Yeah. So are you suggesting more like acid mine drainage?
Yeah.
Management.
Yep.
Yeah. My understanding, we will work through similar questions in other counties, because I know it's an issue. It's not that it can't be documented. It's not that we can't document the acid mine drainage and mine management BMPs. It's something that DEP is well aware of. They're trying to come up with a way to credit both, because by utilizing that, or I guess by improving the waterways through acid mine drainage improvements and best management practices, it does improve the capacity of the stream to handle nitrogen and process it better. It's just the documentation and the research is limited there. So they're trying to promote that and understand that better, so that we can take credit for it both ways in terms of acid mine drainage improvements, but also in terms of the nitrogen TMDL for the cap. So definitely it's on the table. It's something they're aware of, and they're trying to make use of. And it's a big question and concern in the northeast part of the state. I know in Luzerne and Lackawanna counties, they have the same question. Our waterways are impaired by this stuff. Reducing nitrogen through some of these specific BMPs might not improve that acid mine drainage issue. Well, why can't we take credit for what we're doing in terms of acid mine drainage improvements? And it's just the way the information that we have out there and how it combines. So keep doing what you're doing, and we want to use the countywide action plan process for making them aware of the opportunities and awareness and appetite for implementing additional best management practices, whether it's focused on the ag land, focused on acid mine drainage improvements. All of that we can document here. Just say, hey, there's issues here related to this. We are doing these things. Give us additional resources. We can improve the waterways this way.
Yeah. Go ahead. Were you thinking of something specific that I didn't mention, Judy?
Doug, are you familiar with some of the efforts that have been taking place in the city of Shamokin? I know that DEP and EPA have both had a fairly active presence there regarding some environmental justice initiatives. Also, there has been some activity that has taken place. We actually just recently received an environmental education grant. There is a group of folks in the Shamokin area. They have I don't know if you call it an organized group, but it's a Shamokin Community Gardens is kind of what they call themselves. And they are going to be doing some activity at Claude Kaler Park. That's going to involve a tree planting right there along Shamokin Creek. And there's going to be some educational signage that's going to be going up in that area regarding acid mine drainage, as well as the importance of riparian buffers. And also, interestingly, to tie in with what Tracy was talking about, also about pollinators. And so there is some activity that is taking place in the Shamokin area that will take some time to take root, but they are definitely moving in a positive direction in trying to assist that community. A big part of it's education too, I think. And so I think that eventually that will certainly play out in a positive way, but I know it's going to take some time.
No, I didn't know about that, and thanks for sharing that with me. And my wife is here with me. She didn't get the invite, but that's where the education comes in, because maybe there's something that we can do where it's about that. It's about educating that younger generation of the importance of clean water. So yeah, I mean.
So hi, I'm here, Brandy. So I was thinking about my 6th grade biology class, and if there's a way that you would like me to involve the Shikellamy Middle School in some of those activities. We do have a pollinator garden we planted, which was just a little mulchy area that we turned into a pollinator garden. But if you need I could probably work with the school district to get some sort of a field trip to get the students to be part of any of those projects. We can talk, Judy, but that would be great.
That would be fantastic. I know that we are going to be seeking volunteers and assistance with that project as time goes on. I apologize, you didn't receive the invite, by the way. I didn't.
That's okay. Maybe it hit my junk mail or something. Yeah.
Yeah, that happens to me sometimes too. So I completely understand. But no, I mean, that would be fantastic. What I can do is I can connect with you offline and provide you with our watershed specialist contact information. He is administering that grant and that project.
Sure.
And it sounds like with the activities that you are involving your students in, it sounds like they would be a good fit for a project such as this. And I'm sure that the Shamokin group would love to have their participation and involvement. So I appreciate that.
Great, thanks.
Absolutely. Thank you for offering. I appreciate that.
Sure.
I think that brings up a really good topic of conversation is, I know getting the word out about the countywide action plan process and what they're trying to do and what other entities might be trying to do is another way. Might not be something that's reportable to reduce nitrogen, but it's something we can document that if we had more resources to cross connect these entities, it would be helpful. And I know Judy, the conservation district is working on a CAP focused webpage. So I think including links to watershed organizations and people that are interested in doing that is a good way to cross connect and continue the conversation through this summer, through next year, through these next few years. Because what we put together this year it's not a fixed plan. We can adjust as we progress. So if there's new opportunities that present themselves in the next 1 to 2 to 3 years, those are things that we can document in the future and modify our plan as we make progress. So we just don't want the idea that we're putting the plan together this year and it closes the door. That's not the concept here. Is we're trying to document what we're aware of and potential that we see based on the information we have right now.
And I think the outreach is really a critical point, and also just making it known that work is being done. Typically, I find that people that are involved in this type of work tend to not like to toot their own horn. And this would be one of those examples when it's important to toot your own horn so that those who are making these decisions at the higher levels know what's going on and know what needs to be counted and know what is taking place, because that way we can make sure that they have the most up-to-date information so that when they're making these decisions about different things to implement and potential regulations and policy, they're not making it based on faulty data and faulty information. It's the local folks on the ground who have the most current information. And so it's important that they have that relevant info. So.
Well, I don't have anything else. I can pop through slides if anybody had questions. I know I didn't get any yet, but I know Doug's topic of the broader picture of water quality, that's definitely what we're trying to promote and make everyone aware of. And I think a good outcome from today is please continue to communicate with others you might be aware of that are interested in water quality locally, and tell them that the countywide action plan process is in action, and that we're looking for partners and ideas and things to promote in the future to help us make progress on those water quality initiatives.
Hey Judy, this is Gary.
Can you speak up a little bit, Gary? I can, you sound a little quiet.
Okay, can you hear me better now?
A little bit, but it sounds really, really muffled.
I don't know whether something matter with my speaker or what, but I had a question for Matt on, I see a lot on the riparian buffers or forested buffers. Is there any incentive to do grass buffers, or does that get any credit anymore?
Yes. Grass buffers do get credit. What I was showing, I think in the slide, was just that forested buffers are just more efficient at reducing nitrogen just because of the vegetation type of vegetation. But there are definitely grassy buffers are also a component in BMP that we can utilize to take credit for.
Anybody else have questions or comments? Even comments are appreciated.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have anything, or if you think of something after the meeting, please don't hesitate to reach out to me, Nathan, or Matt about any feedback that you have as well, and we'll gladly take it.
Yeah.
Judy, is the Shamokin Creek Watershed Alliance, is that part of your organization? We gave them a grant. I remember the name from a few years ago. Is that connected to you?
So the Shamokin Creek Restoration Alliance is a separate watershed organization. The connection that they have to us is that the Conservation District has a watershed specialist. And one of the watershed specialist duties is to assist with the formation of watershed organizations. And so Shamokin Creek Restoration Alliance, they came into existence, I believe it was back in the late 80s or early 90s, if I remember correctly. And the Northumberland County Conservation District played a significant role in their formation, and helping them get started and helping them become a 501c3 and getting them established. And they do come to the Conservation District from time to time for assistance with the administration of grants and projects. And so we do have a close working relationship. They are an independent organization, but we do work closely with them. So not
Okay.
really a part of our organization, but we definitely collaborate on a lot of activities and work together pretty closely.
Okay, great. Yeah, you guys must have been the ones that applied for their grant on their behalf. That's why I'm connecting the two names. So that makes sense.
It's very possible. Yeah,
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
you bet.
I'm gonna share one more thing. And I didn't kind of skim right over it, but I know Judy's pursuing a 319 plan for Warrior Run watershed in the northern part of the state. And that's another component of this, is that there are definitely lots of different, several different funding buckets that are available. And a 319 program is one it's just a specific program that EPA has developed, that if you go through a planning process to put that together, you get access to an additional funding portal. So something to be made aware of for watershed associations that you might be involved with, is to let them know about that planning process. And on the other side of the river, in Union County, the entire Buffalo Creek watershed is considered part of the 319 plan. So that just, you get access to a different bucket of funds to help you implement projects. Not a guarantee of getting it, but because you went through the effort of putting together a 319 watershed improvement plan, it gives you opportunities to access those funds to promote water quality improvements in those areas. So from, you can see the nitrogen loading map here, Warrior Run is definitely one that will help it out a lot. But the acid mine drainage issues as well can come into play for some of those other watersheds. So something to consider moving forward as watershed associations kind of ebb and flow and get created and work together. Be aware of that. And that's something that Conservation District is aware of, can help you push through if that's something someone wants to pursue.
Yeah, and that's something that DEP really encouraged us to do, so that we would have more access to funding possibilities in the future, was to get a watershed implementation plan written for that particular watershed, just because of the issues there, and that would make more funding resources available to us. So.
All right. Well, I think moving forward, on our end, we're going to help work with the Conservation District and the other planning entities to put together the countywide plan through the next few months. And I think we'll be reaching back out to the larger stakeholder group to provide an opportunity to present that plan, whether that's a Zoom or some sort of in-person thing. We haven't decided yet, but potential for either exists, and we want to kind of show you where we fell in terms of progress with the potential projects that we've identified for the plan moving forward. So please be on the alert for that. And thank you for participating today. Judy, I don't know if you have anything else you want to mention.
Nope, that's it. I also thank everybody for participating. And if you are aware of anybody who you think would also be interested in being part of this process and providing feedback that you think it would be helpful for us to reach out to, please don't hesitate to let us know, and we will certainly add them to our contacts list and reach out to them. And again, if you think of anything after this call, please reach out and let us know. So we're certainly open to any feedback or comments or questions.
Okay, thank you, everyone.
Matt, you still
Yeah, I am. Yep.
have
Right.
a quick, I have a quick question for you.
Mhm.
So I saw several emails come through, and I'm just trying to figure out. I'm getting really confused about all of these meetings.
Yeah, and I didn't get to follow up on your question about Kate. So there's two things going on.
Yeah.
It sounds like there's an update to CAST, a bigger picture update to CAST that they're going to present to us.
Yeah.
And it's on the same, like that same week that she wanted to go over the county results.
Okay.
So two separate meetings. The 15th at 9 is the bigger picture one.
Okay.
And then
the other one, the 17th?
Yeah, 17th, or I forget what the dates were. I think the 17th worked with what else was going on. I forget. I have to look at my email.
Because I have a meeting. I see that there's a meeting. Is it this Wednesday at 2? Is there a call? Is that our check-in call with DEP?
That
Do you know if that's taking place?
Yep, that's another. Hold on.
I can't. I mean, I have all these meetings written down, and then I have some crossed out, and I have some. So I'm just trying to stay on top of them all.
Yep. Megan, are you there?
I am, and I'm thinking same thing. Which one are we talking about?
Yeah.
We are
Yeah.
so many.
So I think.
Oh, the MS4 forum is on Wednesday. Are you talking this Wednesday?
Yeah.
This Wednesday,
So
I have.
Wednesday at 2 is the meeting invite. I think Megan, you had sent it out for. That's like our check-in with DEP.
Yes, that's at 2:00 because I'm on vacation on Friday.
So
That's right. Okay.
Yeah. So that's like our just midpoint check-in. My understanding is just progress update with them, but it's not the CAST results. CAST results are next week.
Now
Okay.
I can move that 2:00 or just cancel it since there's so much going on. If you guys need that time.
Is that
I
with
wouldn't be
everyone?
upset about that, quite frankly. I don't mean to speak for you, Matt, but I wouldn't be upset if we did that.
Yeah, I think there's a lot going on.
Okay.
I doubt like homing will be that upset either, but I guess if you guys kind of, I'm trying to remember who, again, so many meetings, who's getting invited to what, but I think the counties are all on this call, but it sounds like across the board, the numbers aren't high enough from what's been submitted so far for the CAST reviews. Maybe I just gave you breaking news. Let me check.
That was my guess, just the way things were going, but.
We have a call with central office. When is this? I think it's next week. Again, so many calls. Okay, Tuesday the 15th. It is tier 3 and 2 CAST scenario reassessment webinar. Who should attend?
9.
Yeah, who should attend? County coordinators, county lead entity CAP team, and conservation district. Discuss how counties can stretch to meet local water quality nutrient reduction goals in support of the CAP. Yeah. Okay, background. The initial draft CAST scenario runs show nutrient load reductions far below the state recommendations for the majority of tier 3 and 4 counties. This meeting will provide the opportunity to discuss ways county partners can reassess their CAST scenarios in order to bring the goals reductions closer to the recommendations.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Well, let's focus on that, and we'll cut out our 2:00 since everybody.
Okay.
Did you get the invite for that?
For the one on Tuesday?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually just saw an email come in from Kate. I think she sent the invite this morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, that came through early this morning. So
Okay, yeah, if you open that in the notes section, it's got all that info.
got it. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. That's, yeah, I do see that. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
So the
Okay,
one,
I'm gonna send out a deletion on that one then.
so the one on Wednesday, we're not doing. And so the ones that we need to focus on are next Tuesday at 9. That's the overall tier 3 and tier, gosh, I can't even remember what tiers we're on anymore. But
3
anyway,
and 4. Yeah.
tiers counties. And then the one on Thursday, the 17th from 8:30 to 10, is that one more specific to us? Is that,
Yeah.
okay,
So that's our midpoint check-in with the Bay program. And then
okay.
on top of that, they want to do our yeah, I know. They want to do our our Northumberland County's cast model review separate to that.
Oh, okay.
Which I don't know if Megan, I don't know if with the Bay program office, is it the same people that would be sitting in on both the cast? I don't know. I mean, maybe we just tell them at 10 a.m. on Thursday and we can, I don't know if we'll actually meet for an hour and a half at 8:30 and just combine those two. I think that's the time. So I haven't sent this to you yet, Megan, because we were just going to do it on our working group. But Kate they have our results for our first scenario run. We haven't reviewed them with them yet. They're trying to schedule that at the same time, like on the same day, double back to this meeting. That's all. Sorry for the confusion.
Okay. Okay. I'm not sure that deletion went through. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Send cancellation. Perfect. Okay. So you're saying you want to do the cast results review next Tuesday before the other meeting?
No,
Yeah.
I guess
I'm sorry. I was trying to multitask and I did it poorly.
Okay.
I know. I'm sorry. I didn't.
It's okay.
Yep. So the invite that I have for 8:30 on the 17th is from you. That's with the Bay office.
Yes, and that's with Lycoming and Northumberland. The Bay office requested to have all the county groupings meet so that we'll have to go through both counties at the same time.
Okay. I didn't know if that was just us or with Lycoming.
Yes, that's with Lycoming. And that makes sense because some of the county groupings are working, their work is more intertwined than others.
Yeah.
So it's easier for them to just schedule it that way.
Yeah, that's fine. So then the meeting, so Kate had sent out meeting times for us, Judy, to review the cast results, 15th, 16th, or 17th, I think were the dates, a couple of time frames.
Yep.
Take a look at those again.
Okay.
And obviously with the other things going on, but I asked her to send the results to us, but she said they wouldn't do that without the meeting. So.
Oh, okay.
So that's kind of where we're at.
And I think I just assumed that the 17th, 8:30 to 10 meeting, I guess I wrongly assumed that was a response to the dates and time she sent out requesting.
No. Yeah.
So
sorry, I know it's just the timing of when.
No, that's okay. That's okay. Okay. Right. Sounds good. I'll have to dig out that email and see find it.
Okay.
I may need you to resend me that.
That's fine. I can do that. I'll make it a separate topic and everything new email. So we keep our topics separate.
That sounds good. That sounds like a good plan. Okay.
Cool.
All right.
Anything else you want to touch on before?
I was kind of expecting our two watershed groups, both Little Shamokin and Creek Restoration Alliance, they were both supposed to participate today. So I was disappointed that they didn't call in, but maybe something came up that they couldn't.
Yeah. Well, if you want to follow up with like direct one-on-one emails and, maybe CC me and say like, let us, if they don't want to do a rescheduled Zoom call, I'm happy to do that.
Okay.
if they want to just, talk anything, or if they just want to, share information via email, that's fine.
Okay, that sounds
So
good.
just let them know that they can talk to you, or they can talk to me about doing that.
Okay, that sounds like a good plan.
Okay, great.
Hopefully we'll get good participate. I think we have a good number of people that are participating tomorrow.
Okay.
The government.
Okay.
So that should, I know we have some municipal folks that are participating, as well as, obviously people from DEP, et cetera. So
Yeah.
So that should be an interesting call.
Okay, that's great.
Okay.
Good. All right. Well, I'm good for now.
Okay, thanks, Megan, for
you,
signing
Megan.
on. Sorry
Yeah.
that I didn't know that you were on. Like, Megan did call in eventually, and I said doing the Zoom over the phone is a lot more difficult. You can't see who's signing on when,
Yeah.
and they
Oh,
don't.
that's okay.
So
Yeah, no, I was just more or less lurking. I was actually triple booked on Friday for
yeah.
a good portion of the morning. And the third one, I never even jumped in on. I just, I had to prioritize on what I was going to be the most active in versus more passive. So I'm glad I got to join at least for a little bit.
It was a pretty good discussion. We had a lot of great feedback, so it went well.
Yeah.
Good. All right. Well, I will let you go to all of your other meetings. We're
Thanks.
dealing with meeting overload just as vacation season comes on. Yikes.
Yeah.
Yeah, amen to that. I hear you.
And that's why I wanted to get that that midpoint check-in with the two counties and central office and regional office set up as quickly as possible, because when I heard about that and I heard, oh yeah, we're going to have these like 6 people from Harrisburg on, and I thought, oh my gosh, I said, those slots are going to snap up faster than, Paul McCartney tickets. And with people trying to be on vacation and stuff, it's going to be almost impossible. I think I was the first one to schedule. I think I was the first one to lock in a time slot from what I could tell. So at least in our region, I don't know about the other 2 regions. So
Yeah.
I was glad that we found something. And literally it was one option out of all the ones that I was looking at for the whole month of June, basically, that worked. Only one worked for everybody.
Yeah. Wow.
No, I hear you. I'm sure that as much as we're swamped with meetings, I'm sure you're probably, your position, you probably have about 3 times the meetings that at least I do at this point. So I understand.
It varies a lot for me, but I think the Bay office folks, obviously way more complex schedules. When I looked at their schedules to try to plan that, I emailed Kate Beats and I said, you guys all need to take like 3 weeks off in October after everything's submitted and have like a staff holiday or something. And she said, well, actually, we have to do XYZ in October, November, December. I said, okay, then book sandals for January. And
there you go.
Go together.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, it was nuts. So, all right. Well, you guys have a great week. I am off Thursday and Friday. So.
Okay.
I am too. So I'm right
that's
there
fine.
with you. I'm off Thursday, Friday, and Monday. So
cool.
heading out to Pittsburgh. So.
Oh, cool. Anything in particular planned?
Yeah, I'm going to start moving into my new apartment.
Oh, I don't think I realized you were moving states and everything. Wow.
Oh, yeah, it's kind of a crazy time right now. I'm managing 2 different places at the same time while I make the move. So it's just, I'm trying to get out there every other weekend and signed a lease and setting up utilities and doing all that fun stuff. And at the same time, trying to close things up here. It's just, it's crazy town right now, but it is what it is.
I feel you. And when we moved up here, Forrest, I started working here at the end of September, and Forrest was teaching at the University of Delaware, where we had lived for 4 years. And so he stayed down there until the semester ended in December. And I had rented a house up here for 2 months while we were in the process of moving, and we were trying to buy a house here.
Yeah.
And so at one point we did buy the house, and then at one point we had the apartment in Delaware, the rental house for 2 more weeks, and then we owned this house.
Ugh.
So I said we were like living like, you know, the Trumps or something. We have 3 properties.
Yeah. It's nuts. It really, really is. But I'm glad to hear I'm not the only, you know, nutcase who decides to do something like that. So
Oh, hey, no, it's exciting. It's always an exciting time when you make a big move, a big
it
change.
is.
So,
It is.
boy.
Okay. Well, I appreciate both of you and your input. So thank you very much. And Matt, thanks for the presentations and everything. So I'll see you tomorrow, I guess.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Cool. All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye, everybody.